to End Time TV. November is National Diabetes Awareness Month. So today I'll be talking about type 1 diabetes, and we'll also hear testimony from someone who has type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is when the pancreas stops producing insulin. It currently has no cure, and some people are more than likely to get it through a combination of genetics. But there are also some people that may have the same genes that do not get it. No one knows for certain how people get type 1 diabetes. Some experts indicate it could be something inside or outside the body that causes the disease. They're not certain what it may be, but are working to figure it out. Type 1 diabetes can occur at any age. It is generally recognized at a young age, and it impacts them throughout their lifespan. It accounts for nearly 2/3 of all cases of diabetes that's happening in children, and there are more than 150,000 children in the United States that's younger than 18 years old that have type 1 diabetes. Having a restrictive diet and exercising is very important for people with diabetes. The key to the diet is focusing on nutritious foods that are high in vitamins and minerals, and cutting down on foods that are high in fat, sugar, or empty carbohydrates. They have to be more mindful of their food intake and understand how it would affect their body. This will actually be a good diet for anyone, not just for people with diabetes. Athletes and people with type 1 diabetes can exercise and get the same benefits like everyone else. It's all about perceiving how your body responds to exercise, physical activity, food intake, and learning to balance insulin. There are some people with type 1 diabetes that do not engage in regular activity or sports because they fear of displeasing their teammates because of their need for checking their glucose regular, the necessity to eat snacks at precise times that might upset the team's performance. Being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes as a child can have a psychological burden on not only the young person, but also close family members as well. There may be a need for financial assistance and learning to adjust. Maintaining peer groups is a challenge for children with type 1 diabetes, and it causes an increase in their stress levels and emotions like anger and frustration. When having to deal with discrimination from other students and peer pressure, being singled out and feeling alone was a major concern, because they didn't want to feel different from their friends or treated differently. Now we're going to hear a testimony from a young man who has type 1 diabetes. Now we're introduced to you Javon Maddox. He is 19 years old and he lives in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. He has type 1 diabetes. Let's hear from him.
Hey everybody, my name is Javon Maddox. I'm 19 years old and I have type 1 diabetes. When I first became aware I had diabetes, I was 6 years old. Well, I had to usually take my glucose levels 5 times a day before meals. I have to often inject insulin 3 to 5 times a day. I take insulin, Lantus, which is at night, and Novolol, which is in the morning. I often have to inject insulin when my blood sugars are high, which is Lantus, because that brings down your levels. Well, the type of changes I have made to my diet is eating less sugars and eating more healthy foods, which is salad and plenty of fruits. I think I manage my diabetes pretty good. I usually, try to take it at least every 4 hours just to make sure where my levels are at. Well, it really doesn't cause me any problems at the time. 200s and 300 blood sugars are kind of bad for me, but if I can keep it in the range of 90 to 180, I should be fine. Well, the barriers that I have to face are the people teasing me when I'm checking my blood sugars and stuff like that. For instance, when I was in school, I had certain times where I had to check my blood sugars in between classes. So I would do that, but at the same time I had students behind me trying to gather around me, trying to figure out what I'm doing and how it operates and stuff like that. And I had one guy come up to me and said, "Hey man, you doing this all the time, you might well check my blood sugar too," and start laughing. So I was like, basically, you're playing with me, right? He was like, "Yeah, man, I just want you to prick my finger." I was like, well, you know what? I can't do that, because that's very dangerous on my part to put my blood to your blood. That's nasty. I said, you have to be more smart with the decisions that you make, period. I was like, so I'm not finna check your blood sugar, I'm about to check mine. So it's just, kind of things that make you emotional because people take it as a joke and it's really not funny. It's something that could be a life and death situation. Just paying attention to myself, listening to my own body, whatever I feel like I need to do for my blood sugars to be in the right range and stuff, I take upon myself to do that for myself. I don't ask nobody else. I'm to the age now where I'm old enough to do things for myself, so I try to take that in consideration. It affects my family by they have to pay attention, a lot of attention to me, They have to listen to, the certain movements and, they have to look at my body language, everything, how I walk when my blood sugars are 300, which is high, when my blood sugar is that range, they should look for if I'm stumbling or if I fall down and I can't get back up, what should they do then? So, it's just all on their time, and it's just watching me and paying close attention to me. Well, I would tell people who have diabetes to educate themselves more on the positive things. Don't look at the negative side all the time. Just remember to always check your blood sugar every time before a meal. And also make sure that your blood sugars are in the range from 180 to at least 200. Those are the type of ways that you can, get yourself better with your diabetes.
I want to thank everyone for watching In Time Television. If you want to join in supporting those with diabetes, please visit the American Diabetes Association at www.diabetes.org for information on ways you can help.